Hey there! Today I'll be talking about finding your art style and my personal journey in the subject. This video was highly requested and I know many struggle with it. So I thought I'd at least try to give my 2 cents about it. In the background I'll put a time-lapse of my newest piece, which was part of a telephone collab I partook in over on Instagram. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. To start off with, what even is an art style? Well, I found 2 definitions over on Urban Dictionary. The first one is how you draw and color a piece of art. Okay, that's pretty vague. So let's look at the other one. An excuse for people on DeviantArt or any other art forum to be lazy and draw disproportionate and badly shaped, eye-gouging artwork. I'm sorry. Okay, I see some problems with both definitions, but if we look at the first one, it is so broad. You don't really get much of an explanation when you say how someone draws and colors a piece of art. The possibilities are literally endless. You can define it into different categories, sure, realistic, cartoons, anime, but would you say that, oh god, here comes my horrible pronunciation, Iwao Takemoto? Sorry. The original character designer for the Scooby-Doo cast has the same style as Danny Hines, the lead designer of Steven Universe. They're both cartoon artists after all, but they're so incredibly different. So, can we agree that every artist has their own style? However, there is much to be learned from other artists, even though you will never be able to draw exactly like them. Growing up, I mainly drew manga art. Manga was a huge influence in my life, both in the books I read like Sugar Sugar Rune, Tokyo Mew Mew, Full Metal Alchemist and others, but also my mother's art. But when I started drawing digital, it was like my hand didn't want to draw the shapes I was used to. But I didn't give up. I started looking for a different way to draw things. I kept some and I removed some of my old techniques. And what I came up with was this monstrosity. But it was something I could work with. So my first tip is not to force your hand to draw shapes that won't work out for you. It will just have you raging and feeling frustrated at what you managed to create, if you managed to create something at all. Throughout my 1.5 years of drawing digital art, I've studied real life and other artists I admire. Looking at my art today, I find 4 huge influences. My second tip is actually to identify what your art is based on and why exactly that draws you in. Mine are Scooby-Doo, Mystery Incorporated, Winx Club, the first couple of seasons, the art of Leilani Joy, and Chrissa Bug. When I rethought my art back in August of 2020, I started drawing very similar eye to Mystery Incorporated and Winx. The hair I drew was mainly inspired from Winx Club as well. Leilani Joy inspired me with the blush on the different parts of the body that I do. Hands, mouth, clothing. And my newest major influence, Krista Bug, has taught me an incredible amount about rendering skin and general coloring. Putting these examples side by side, you can start to see a pattern. I highly recommend you do the same. Then, once you know where you are, you can start looking at what you enjoy in other people's art. What are you drawn to? What do you want to incorporate into your own art? A few months ago, I was feeling quite lost, so I collected a few of my favorite artists' work, which had things I wanted to bring into my own art. I found patterns there as well. I enjoyed the long model-esque bodies, just as I had seen in my previous study. Cohesive color palettes, bigger yet elegant expressions, and good lighting, like really dramatic lighting. I love that. Since I made that study, I've been doing many things to try to incorporate these reflections into my own art. For example, I started studying anatomy, which I recommend anyone does, because it will really improve your art. I wanted to know how the bones and muscles work underneath the skin to be able to get those really good proportions and be able to get those model-esque proportions, those long legs, long thin arms, and all of that I enjoy seeing in other people's art. I've been toning down my colors, using less saturation. Before my colors were saturated. And now I've started working with the entire color wheel and all different types of colors, even the ones I was quite afraid of before. I recommend you do the same. See what you like in your favorite artist's work to try to figure out ways to get that into your art. However, I do recommend you take multiple artists and not just one. Everyone steals art styles from each other. It happens all the time. Even before we were old enough to know that you could steal an art style. I stole from my favorite books and shows. And don't be afraid if your art looks different in a few months. It's part of the process. It doesn't mean you don't have an art style. It just means it has changed. Here's what a few months have done to me. I don't know how you see it, but I see an incredible difference. I hope this video helps and has given you a few ideas. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.